get back into the business of talking about pay-per-views. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 53 of Under the Middle Rope. I'm your host, Jose Tabuada, and yes, it is time to talk about AEW once again, as this past Sunday, Double or Nothing happened in Jacksonville at Daly's Place in front of a full crowd, which was absolutely incredible. So it's nice to get back into the routine of things, as I said last week, as I am here today, ready to talk about Double or Nothing, a very fun pay-per-view, as we'll get into those details. Andrew Wolf Fultman, Pete Atkinson are with me for today's episode, and there's not much to it. In fact, let's get right into it. So all I can say is just sit back, relax, and enjoy our Double or Nothing 2021 Fallout. Hey everybody, welcome to the discussion. Like I said, our usual gang of misfits, or the smaller gang, smaller members of the gang of misfits are here. Pete Atkinson is back. Wolf also returning with us, who, by the way, before I go any further, I do want to say that he does have a new little show that came out today, or this past Monday at the time.
Like literally 5 minutes ago.
Uploaded just a few minutes before we started recording, called Spirit of the Wolf. If you want to check that out, Wolf wants to try a new adventure.
It's my new cheerful ripoff of Jose's program, except with more alcohol and less serious talk. And let me close friends.
Not what I wanted. That is not what I expected to promote. But yes, anyways, check it out.
It's not at all like Jose's show. It's very different. I'm not going to step on this man's toes. He will be on at some point, though. As well.
Yes, of course. So I'm looking forward to that. And again, once again, before I go on any further, I do want to thank you both for checking up on me during the 6-week break, because I know the break was all of a sudden. It was random. So what happened? But you guys were some of the few examples of that messaged me asking what happened to the podcast. So seriously, thank you for that. And if you missed my whole rant on mental health last week before the opener of episode 52, check that out. Link in the top right. Because I just think that you need good supportive lads like these two right here. So thank you, gentlemen. And on that note, we will just go on to discuss what we are talking about today. And of course, it is our Double or Nothing Fallout. This past Sunday, Double or Nothing happened. An amazing crowd. Oh my goodness. I think that's our first point before we go on any further match by match. What a crowd. What a great reaction all around. They were so into it. I mean, yes, we do miss it. There's no doubt about it. Of course, we most of us at least also hope that it's done in a safe environment possible, and we hope that there's no increase in spike in cases, or at least I guess the damage from that front is minimal. But seriously, last night I think just off the top there, what a crowd!
I'd like to think everyone there has like a vaccine or at least a negative test.
Yeah, or fully vaccinated. If anything, but anything else to add on about the crowd before we go on? No, nobody has anything else.
I think it's like whether it's safe or not is up for debate. But ignoring that, I missed it. I so missed it, and they elevated some of these matches so much. Just having that crowd, having that atmosphere, and you don't realize how much you miss it till it's gone. And and of course,
Paradise, put up a parking lot.
I hope I don't get copyright.
Yeah, I'm not paying for stuff on my show.
Of course, the WWE does get their crowds back on July 16th for Friday Night SmackDown in Houston, Texas. So hopefully, their atmosphere is almost. Hopefully, it's just as good as what we saw this past Sunday before they realized it's WWE's booking. Let's talk about the pay-per-view, gentlemen. 9 matches on the card from this past from this past Sunday. We're not going to talk about the pre-show match, although Serena Deeb and Rio did have a great match, as Serena won by submission. But we move on and we start with the opening match. Hangman Page defeated Brian Cage. The little tease at the end of the match there with Brian Cage. With his buddies costing him the match, I guess it could lead to a breakup. It could lead to a Brian Cage solo run, but I think a Hangman Page win is a great opening win to get the crowd going. Again, the crowd was already obviously the start of the show, crowd's already going nuts, but they really fed into this match. And again, the match was incredible to start anyway. So it was a great opening match. Pete, let's start with you with your reaction to Page and Cage. Oh God.
First of all, a tale of two entrances here, because Brian Cage's was shocking, mimicking Triple H from WrestleMania 31, but even somehow worse. And Page, my God, that pop when Adam Page's music hit it blew the roof off. And you always start to doubt yourself in this pandemic of how over certain wrestlers are, and you don't really know, because we talk to a very small circle of fans, and we follow a small circle of fans maybe online and on Twitter, etc. And you get a very small then survey of how people feel, and everyone's like, "Oh, Page is probably over, isn't he?" But then to see that reaction, to see how over he is, my God! In that match, the crowd, everything Hangman Page did, they were for it. Any little move, any hit, any time Cage got an offense, they were booing. It was brilliant, perfect example of how hot a crowd can be. And this is just epitomized for me that Hangman Page is the man to beat Kenny Omega. He is going to go on. He has got that crowd support. The story is written there. The former tag team stuff. It's so obvious that you feel like you have to do it. And it's a lot of people say it's so obvious we shouldn't, but it's one of those where it's so obvious you just have to do it.
Yeah. Of course, and I think you bring up a good point in terms of like, you know, how is the crowd going to react to talent across the board in wrestling? Because I mean, sports is one thing, because obviously, you know, sports is still sports. You know, they still perform on the field, or on the ice or whatever, and the players do what they got to do. But wrestling, they feed off attention, they feed off a reaction, and we don't know who technically is really over in WWE aside from what you get on social media. And the same thing with AEW. And I think this past Sunday was a great example of who do the fans really want? Who do they not want? And of course, there were a couple of matches where that really showed. And we're going to get into that. Wolf, your reaction on the opener?
Well, obviously, Page is over. I mean, I've always known, like, right before like they stopped having crowds, he was definitely like the biggest pop, other than like Darby Allin or Jungle Boy. It's kind of written in the stars. I don't think Page has to be the one to take it from Omega, because we'll get into it later, but there's somebody else that, you know, people really want to see take it from Omega. But I say Page is definitely over enough that he's the most obvious choice to do it. I want to see him kick out of the One-Winged Angel. He just has this charisma. He has this like likability. He's like Stone Cold Steve Austin, but for, you know, the modern audiences. There's just something there. And Brian Cage played his part really well, and he even like the hints towards the face turn really worked really well for me. The fact that we all got to, like, you know, chant cowboy shit again, that's what really did it for me. Like, I was watching at a viewing party until I had to leave because my phone was dying, and everyone there was cheering cowboy shit. So there's a lot of money here with Hangman Page, and I'm really glad he got the win. It doesn't really hurt Cage at all because, you know, he's got other things going on that he can work on.
And that's another interesting point, is who will be the one to eventually kick out of the One-Winged Angel? I mean, you would think competitors like Okada back in New Japan.
It's going to be Bill Goldberg, I know.
No. You brought it up yourself. We didn't even do it for you.
I'm in a good mood.
And like, if it is Page, I'll be happy. I mean, I know when you compare it to some of the opponents that Kenny faced, again, like an Okada, like an Ibushi, how like, you know, they didn't kick out of the One-Winged Angel.
Coda did once.
But it wasn't an official kick out. That's the problem. It was like, what was it, a rope break?
Okay, what defines an official kick out? Like a judge is coming with a scorecard?
Ibushi is officially kicked out of it before in like some promotion.
DDT.
Okada got a leg on the rope. Was during Okada vs Omega 4, I believe, and he hit it and he was too close to the ropes and he just put his leg across onto the ropes.
Right, and that's what people were like, I guess, like debating a little bit, because technically what people are looking for is like an official shoulder lift. Yeah, the shoulder lift, as we both did at the same time, a shoulder lift kick out. So if Page can do that, then I think the wrestling world is going to go insane. Not just AEW fans, but like the whole world.
And I think that stadium roof goes off if it happens. And I'm almost tempted for him not to do it in the first match with him. Like, maybe I'm just cruel, maybe I'm evil. I'd almost have Omega retain in the first match, but maybe that would drag it on too much. I don't know. It'd be just an interesting.
I think it depends.
It depends where it is. It depends when it is and what the build is. But
that as well. And they did announce this past Sunday that All Out will return to Chicago in September. Full Gear will return to. We'll go to St. Louis, I believe, in November as well. So I don't know if it'll be at one of those two events, but
I think
it looks very, very promising. I kind of hope it is, because I feel like All Out. We had this discussion as well the other day. If what is their WrestleMania, and I think it's All Out. It could be All Out. Like, as
it's between these two.
Yeah, Double or Nothing, or
it's not Full Gear. It's not Revolution.
No, definitely not. But I mean, I would lean towards Double or Nothing as AEW's WrestleMania or flagship show, but there wasn't really a show that stood out. But yes, you can do the argument that because All Out led to the creation of AEW, you can say that is. But
I would say that Revolution is their Survivor Series, but that's like, picking a bean out of a bag. Who cares?
Exactly. It's just like,
They had 4 big pay-per-views, and all 4 are treated as big pay-per-views. I think that's all that matters.
Yeah. So Pete's right. And on that note, we're going to move on to the next match because there's a lot to cover. The Young Bucks defeated Moxley and Eddie Kingston. I'm gonna have started with a little bit of a take. I said it on Twitter, kind of hoping for a reaction that I didn't get. I kind of think that the Young Bucks have really watered down and ruined the super kick.
I feel that's one of the coldest takes in wrestling.
I don't know if it is or not. I don't know. I just want to get that point across.
I think everybody agrees with that.
I think Baby Yoda might be cute.
I figured that was like I hope it's a popular take. I mean, like it was the match was good overall. Sometimes I just look at the super kicks and I go, oh okay. But again, a Wild Thing erupting in Daly's place. Holy Lord, that looked like a very, very fun environment. The Dior's on display as well. But again, a very, very good match. I would have liked to see Mox and Eddie Kingston to win. I think they've been a solid team since they got back together after their world title match or brutal world title match a little while back. But the Bucks continue their reign. I didn't like that Gallows and Anderson appeared. I'm also kind of over the do we need some sort of interference when something's getting really, really good. I'm going to emphasize that later on in the
well, they didn't interfere.
They didn't really, but they were there.
I like that they got shut down very quickly. I like that they didn't have an impact on the match because it kind of made sense to me that, well, they would get involved because why wouldn't they? But at the same time, they didn't get involved because they just got shut down immediately by
right. I think for me it's just their presence there bugged me a little bit. I don't know. I go into detail later on in the match, later on as we go along in the discussion, but I don't know. Not that it's soured. I mean, I'm not gonna go on a big Twitter rant. How dare they? But I just think that if you didn't include them, I would have been fine. But I think
it really depends on how much you actually care for Gallows and Anderson themselves at this point. More than it's like, do we need this plot point?
It's
more about who it is than rather what.
I don't.
I think the other reason they did it here though as well is by taking them out here and having them in essence removed by former SCU, Frankie Kazarian, etc. By having them removed in this capacity, gave them an excuse and reason for them not to interfere in the title match later on, as well.
Fair point.
So if they hadn't interfered here, when it comes to the world title match on Omega, and he's been carrying them both around everywhere, everyone would be going, well, why the hell haven't they come out when it's clearly no DQ? Why wouldn't they be interfering? So by taking them out here, it gives you an excuse of why they don't interfere later on as well.
Which I respect, which I like. I mean, I think, to Wolf's point, asking, who cares about Gallows and Anderson? I really don't. I have not cared for them since they left WWE. Not that I thought that their run in WWE was spectacular either, but to me, I'm just like, okay.
I mean, talking shop and Mania was okay if you were drinking, but they're very much an acquired taste at this point.
I think they're all right henchmen, and that's it. And I think the other issue is it's quite hard. I find Carl Anderson really hard to like as a person. I know some people do, but I don't.
Yeah, that too. But I mean,
well, that's more getting into his personal life, but
right, which would not.
It is, and I don't want to talk about that. But I mean, it does affect me trying to get on board with wrestlers in top feuds when I just don't like them as people. It does hurt. It does affect me a little bit.
That's a fair point. To me, when it comes to just when you take out the personal stuff and it comes to just in ring and just creatively where they use, to me, I'm like, I find Orange Cassidy more entertaining, more better than those two. And I know that's gonna ruffle some feathers out there.
Tickle some feathers.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
The Rings is better than Cats, but
yeah, I mean, Lord of the Rings is better than Cats. But that's just my thing. Do you guys have freely, whoever wants to speak out, if anybody has anything else to add on to the match, because I think we had some really good points there.
A few quick points. Firstly, that timing of that Wild Thing was beautiful with him walking out the door. How they managed that timing? Because I wasn't on board with that theme song initially, but I am 100% on board now after that.
Okay, if I can jump in, there's two versions of Wild Thing. There's the version from the 1960s. It's kind of like you play. It's very boring. It's very dry. And then there's this version from the Los Angeles band X. Like it's really from the movie Major League when Charlie Sheen's character comes from the bullpen. So that's great. Like where this version really took off. And it's like, so okay, this is the definitive version. And on that note, if we're just, rewriting history and taking this away from Charlie Sheen to give to Jon Moxley, I'm very on board with that.
Yeah, that's fine. The other quick points would be, the Super Kick's obviously watered down. It's a transitional move. It has been for about 5-10 years now. I think I'm maybe one of the few who I really love to finish this match. I love that they just bombarded him with like 4 BTE triggers in a row and just went, you know what? I'm fed up of you kicking out. We're just going to murder you right now in the middle of the ring, and you can do nothing about it. I quite like that as a finish.
Exactly.
I thought it was a great match, and I love Eddie Kingston and Moxley together. I could watch a full 2 hours Dynamite of just those two talking.
Because,
it's so good.
First of all, so can I. Second of all, Mox is a strong character. I completely respected and loved and understood the finish. I didn't think it was flat or anything. I didn't think it was like a quiet finish to a crazy match. I'm like, that makes sense. He's a monster. He's a freak. He survived exploding barbed wire. Of course, you need to take care of him.
Where was the kaboom this time?
It just makes sense. Wolf, any other final points before we move on?
I mean, I know a lot of people are kind of sour on the Young Bucks. I think that's more of a question of if you're sour because you just don't like them or if you're sour on them because they're heels. I personally don't like them because they're heels. I totally respect their work, and I feel like the reaction they're trying to get now is very purposeful. So, you can make the debate that they're ruining wrestling, but, go back to the 1980s with the rest of that thinking. I just think that they're doing really good.
Oh
my God!
Yes,
I love that
so hard at that.
And unfortunately, it took me 5 seconds, and I just kind of went, "Why are they doing the Shield stuff?" Oh wait, yeah, of course. It genuinely took me.
This guy was like, what's his name? Seth Rollins in WWE. That's who he used to be.
Thank you for reminding. I can't believe I almost forgot.
It's amazing how much though my mind has moved on from Dean Ambrose that it genuinely took me time to remember he was Dean Ambrose. I think they've done so well with Moxley as a result.
See, for me, it was like I kind of had a similar reaction to you. I was like, okay, what are they doing here? But as soon as I saw the ooh-wah, oh my God, I burst out laughing at my screen.
It was so great.
I don't know. What was the reaction at the bar you were watching it at? You open up states, bastards.
For me, it was a lot of laughing. I heard a lot of shrugs.
Really?
There was a lot of laughter going on. There was definitely some people shrugging, like, "Oh, why are they talking about it?" I'm like, "Come on, that's fun."
The crowd really ate it up apparently because I was following Sean Ross Sapp's Twitter thing as it was going on because he was live in the crowd, and he was saying that the crowd were just going mental when that happened.
I loved it. You can hear it too through your screen. You can hear the crowd going, "Holy crap!" I mean, mind you, I was also a bit distracted because I was nearly on the floor laughing because of the ooh-wah. But I can't believe I almost moved on in this part without bringing that up. But that was just beautiful, and that's what the Bucks do. It's
trolls.
They're trolls. They've always been trolls. They've done it with Being the Elite, and I know a lot of people hate Being the Elite, especially when it can mix in with storylines on AEW, whatever. But that is their job. That is what they're supposed to do. If they're getting you upset, well, for the most part, I think they're doing their job.
Let me put it this way: I don't like the Minions. I know other people do. You know what I do? I just don't watch Despicable Me. I let other people enjoy it. I don't. I don't just keep talking about how much the Minions suck. I just watch something else.
You don't like Despicable Me? Fuck off.
The first one's good. And then like the second. This isn't a Despicable Me podcast.
Well,
watch Spirit of the Wolf, where I'm going to talk about.
Wolf's kind of right on the Despicable Me, but we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on to a really fun match. One match that Pete actually finds the rules confusing, and I kind of agree with him. It is the Casino Battle Royale. It's a 2021 Battle Royale. 5 participants enter, according to the face of the suit of a playing card they've been assigned to in that order, and then at random a suit, which means 5 superstars come out at the same time and proceed as normal. Jungle Boy was the winner of the Battle Royale, last eliminating Christian Cage. We're going to get to that in a little bit. Leo Rush was the Joker, which I got to say, good for him. I'm very happy that I'm very happy that Leo Rush got another opportunity. I hope that he has somewhat matured from his days from WWE, because I know there was some backstage heat with Leo Rush. So he looked great. In the time that he was in the Battle Royale, I thought he looked fine. But Jungle Boy, again, another example of the crowd really feeding into somebody. And if you didn't know how over they were during a pandemic, you do now. And Jungle Boy is an incredible example of that. The new music, the Tarzan Boy, crowd going nuts. It's like they eat up any theme song, which is great, which is a big thing that WWE is lacking, I think, is like a theme song that'll hook and get fans going crazy. The fans waving their arms in the air for Jungle Boy.
Yeah, but then they buried Shinsuke.
But yeah, then they buried. Then
trying. I'll get
Bobby
that.
Roode,
I'm not gonna
but then they
totally
buried Bobby Roode.
Aside from Shinsuke being buried, once they modified his heel thing to make sure that the fans don't sing along to it. It was a different story. But no, Jungle Boy looked great. Christian giving the I guess a support of confidence, saying, hey, go get the title, because Jungle Boy does have a championship match in 2 weeks on Dynamite against Kenny Omega now. Kenny Omega won, but we'll get to that later.
Spoilers.
Yeah, I'm sorry. But for what it was with the Battle Royale, I liked it a lot. I'm happy for Jungle Boy. I've really grown to like Jungle Boy in the last year. And the crowd just really just sells it for me too. I'm like, oh, go get him, Jungle Boy. Go live your dream. Wolf, start with you.
I'm going to say here, and this is kind of a bigger overall point I have about AEW, they don't really make like terrible decisions when it comes to booking, unless, you're trying to write a Cody Rhodes feud, but we'll get to that. Christian could have won this. I thought Cody was going to win. Not Cody. What's his name? Fucking Christian. I thought Christian was going to win. But I was so sure. And then Jungle Boy won, and I'm like, okay, that's not who I thought was going to win. I'm okay with that. They have like lots of options and directions that they can go with things. And even if they don't go the way you want them to, you're still kind of okay with what they do. And I just said do. Okay. But think about this. And this is, again, going forward a little bit. We all want Hangman Page to be the one to take it from Kenny Omega, right? Well, everyone was very behind Orange Cassidy in that match too. And okay, I'd be okay with this. Other people aside. If Jungle Boy beats Kenny Omega, I'm okay with that too. I'm very behind it. But, I don't need things to go one direction. WWE has this problem where they set things up to go either one direction that would work for you, or they'll go this way and it's just terrible. And I don't even know why we have zombies. The point is, there were so many ways they could have gone that would have worked. They picked one option out of many, and I really enjoyed it. I'm really glad that Jungle Boy won because he's very over. They picked a great theme for him. As for like the surprise entrant, there was a rumor started by somebody who shall remain nameless that Daniel Bryan was going to be the entrant. There was a rumor started by Ryback that Ryback was going to be the surprise.
Yeah.
And like literally everyone and their grandmother in the bar thought, oh, Big Show's just going to get up from the desk and go in.
Which would have been hilarious. I mean, it wouldn't have been like a big disappointment.
I mean, AEW has kind of set up the trope of, oh, there's going to be a match at our pay-per-view that has a surprise entrant. It's going to be a big signee. I was like, maybe it will be Big Show. That'd be pretty funny. But Leo Rush, I think, is the perfect amount of surprise. It's not like, oh, I'm disappointed. Why is, this person here? Or, oh my God, this person's so big, but they're not going to win. Leo Rush is the perfect amount. Like the bar, big time pop for him. I think it was a great.
And again, I was relieved to hear that pop because of the heat that happened in the past. And I do wish him well. I do hope he does have a good experience over in AEW. In terms of you brought up like the one directional and see what happens with Jungle Boy. Unfortunately, as happy as I am to see Jungle Boy in that state and to get this win, I think that's what's gonna bug me the most is that I know Jungle Boy's not gonna win.
Oh, he's not winning at all. No.
Which hurts in a sense because I want there to be some sort of hope, and I think that's what bugged me about the main event just a little bit. In like you knew Cassidy and Pac were not gonna win. But,
Okay, but you can still fall for it, and in the moment you'll believe it.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. And I think Orange Cassidy more than Pat got, I think, 2 or 3 near falls. Again, we're gonna get to that match when we do. As Pete stepped out for a little bit, he's had to do something really quick. So just Wolf and I right now. If you're not watching on YouTube, I wish there was like some believability or some sort of hope. Like it's like same thing with Roman Reigns. Same thing with Roman Reigns in the last little bit. It's like, for example, like at the Last Man Standing match on at the Royal Rumble with Reigns and Kevin Owens. I know Kevin Owens is not going to win, and it sucks because I know they're going to want Roman to go to WrestleMania with that title. It's a great match, sure, but at least I want to enter a match where I'm going, oh God, this could go either way, right? And like as much as you want to say, let's say it about Orange Cassidy. Again, as we get to that later, you know that it's just not going to happen, right? And that's unfortunately what's going to happen. What I think is going to happen with Jungle Boy here. As for the Daniel Bryan rumors,
hang on, before we move on, real quick.
Yeah,
I'm very shocked that when Sammy Guevara was handcuffed to the thing, they didn't do a bit where he couldn't get it unlocked, couldn't reach the bolt cutters or unlock the handcuffs just to make fun of Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns. I'm like, okay, that's some restraint. I'm happy with it. Whatever.
Pete's back with us. Pete,
sorry about that.
No, it's okay. We were just quickly discussing about the believability when it comes to some of these matches with Jungle Boy winning, and he has his match in 2 weeks. Unfortunately, we know that going into that match, that there's no way in hell that Jungle Boy is going to win unless a miracle happens and he actually decide to drop the title to Jungle Boy, which I know will piss off the masses. And it just WWE's a bit guilty of it as well, and it's just like damn. And so, like, what are your thoughts on Jungle Boy winning the thing?
I love Jungle Boy winning it. I love the moment with Christian Cage at the end, where it's like not just I'm going to raise your hand. It was a proper like shove him, real go for it, like pumped up attitude. Because I really hate just younger guy went over, good job. Hate that stuff. My issue with this match is this match needs to get dropped. I hate this match. I hate the premise of the Battle Royal as a whole. Because the suits make no sense. There is no point of them whatsoever.
He's got a point.
Like these 5 people in the suit, when it turns over a spade, no one has a clue what that means because we don't know anyone in the spades category.
Okay, I'll give you that.
It's completely stupid. And I feel a bit sorry for AEW because it's hard to come up with new match concepts and stuff like that. But at this point, just make it a Rumble. And do it as a mini Rumble. Do it as a 20-man.
Don't they have a Rumble? They did a Rumble.
Well, that's my issue. They did the Tag Team Rumble at the last pay-per-view. But they even called it a Tag Team Casino Battle Royal. They literally called it that. And you go, well... And I think it was Ross on Cultaholic. So got to give the shout out where it's due because I didn't think of this idea. He suggested doing it as a roulette wheel. So each time you have an electronic roulette wheel of all the entrants on the big screen, you do the countdown, the roulette wheel spins, and that tells you who the next entrant is. It fits in the casino theme, and I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we don't know. Or do we know ahead of? I must have missed it.
No, we don't know. We don't know.
We don't know who belongs to which suit.
Not at all. So it's completely.
We know who's in the match. But we don't know.
I love the idea of that. And you can still do your mystery things because you just have segments on the roulette wheel which are a question mark.
Exactly. No, I agree. I mean, the roulette worked for us when it was time for the Rumble back in January. So I think it's quite a nice little buy-in thing as well. So when it starts spinning, everyone's going, "Oh, I wonder which one it is. I wonder who's going to come in. Where's it going to go?"
And you can start to take out the segments of the wrestlers who've entered. So you can even do that. So as it gets to the last entry, I'd always have the last entry be a surprise. Just so you don't know who it is.
Well, I'm just a sucker for a battle royal. They're my favorite type of match, but I will agree that
I
this
love battle
can be
royals,
fixed.
But I would rather they just made this into some kind of Rumble. This is something in between, and it's something in between that, in my opinion, does not work.
I get it. I do see where people. I'm a sucker for battle royals too. Like I love the Royal Rumble. But I agree with Pete in a sense that like it does feel a bit all over the place, and then you're like, okay, well, I mean, I guess that's also the fun of it too. You're like, wait, who belongs to which suit? Okay, diamonds, who's coming out on diamonds, and then they come out one by one. Like, oh, okay.
That's kind of my issue. If that came with diamonds or spades, the same 5 people could enter because we don't know any. If they announced like 3 entries in each category beforehand, as well, that would at least make it a bit more interesting. So you could have like your sets of 5 up on the screen with like 3 entrants in each and then like 2 question marks in each. And then you could then spin it there. So at least you then know when it lands on diamonds. Okay, Matt Sydal, Solo, and QT Marshall are in this set, and 2 mystery competitors. So at least they got some kind of reason. But if flashing up spades when we having no idea who's in anything, it's completely pointless because that might as well be diamonds.
And not to mention, I'm currently looking at the graphic that I'm looking at the graphic that AEW had for the Casino Battle Royale. They were all on cards, like they're all like on playing cards. And the graphic, and none of them they're all spades. They're literally all spades. Yeah. If the graphic showed at least a different suit for each, then I think you're fine. I think Pete's point stands. But the fact
I think you lack that individual pop that you get in a Rumble as well by having 5 people come out at once. I know they now do it as like individual entrants one at a time slightly, but I still think you miss that bit of a pop.
That's fair. I think it's a fair point.
I'll say don't eliminate this match entirely, but you fix it. There's definitely
which is why I suggested that roulette wheel where we do 1 entrant at a time and we can have a mini 20-man Royal Rumble type situation. Or to be honest, I'd rather it was just a normal battle royal than this, whatever this spades diamond stuff was. But I do feel a bit sorry for them because you can't just call it a Royal Rumble and you have to have something on it because obviously
we'll call it a Regal Rumble.
But just call it the Casino Royale, and then just do that. And like I said, the roulette wheel, like I said, it was Ross's idea and call it this is not my idea. I just love it so much. It gives you that randomness. It fits in with your casino theme. It's unique enough to be different. And everybody likes gambling. Spin the wheel. Everybody likes it.
I like a good gamble.
It works better in Vegas, but yeah.
Let's move on, gentlemen. Let's move on. I think a lot of fun points were made there. And again, Jungle Boy now has a date with Kenny Omega in 2 weeks for the AEW World Championship. But let's move on to the 2021 version of the American Revolution. And of course, I'm talking about.
Do we have to?
Of course, I'm talking about Cody Rhodes and Anthony Ogogo, the British Olympic bronze medalist. Cody won. And I know, and I think this is the feeling with a lot of people, that this was the worst match of the night. Not because of good old USA, as it is Memorial Day. Is this Memorial Day at the time of recording? This was Memorial Day weekend in the United States, but it just felt very flat. I just didn't get it. It's like it was like a very traditional face versus heel, country face versus heel after Ogogo covered Cody Rhodes with the Union Jack. What a heel! Oh, what a heel! I don't have much to say. Again, like. It was what it was. I mean, I think Ogogo's solid. Like, you know, so not bad or anything. And Cody's Cody, but I don't know. Did we really need the whole patriotic thing? No. I don't think so. But I'm happy that
says the guy wearing a shirt that says Team Canada.
Yes, because I am currently declaring war on the United States and the United Kingdom by wearing a Team Canada shirt, a triple threat between the 3 of us. I'm just saying you could have done without it, definitely. And I'm just happy that there is now a generation of kids that can say they saw a reenactment of the American Revolution from 1776. Wolf, let's start with you on this.
I mean, there were no muskets or anything. Look. There's
you
not a
lot. Pyro was.
Oh, shut up! Look, the build sucked. It was weird. It was awkward. It's just weird nationalism for the sake of, you know, what else can we do right now? There's a lot else you can do right now, Cody. Here's the thing. It wasn't even terrible. The match itself was fine, if a little, you know. The finish was a little weird, but I didn't even mind it. But again, it just felt like a very unnecessary feud. I just think they kind of ran out of things for Cody to do. Maybe turn him heel going forward. I didn't even hate this. It's not like, this is just terrible.
I was convinced Cody was a heel. Sorry.
Well, Cody's heel too.
In the eyes of the fans, yes, he was a heel.
In the eyes of British fans, yes.
Yeah, as a British fan, there's no doubt whatsoever.
Well, again, like this wasn't even like atrociously bad. It was just very awkward booking. There's ways to fix it. Just move on. Don't do this again. Let Cody, do other things.
Pete, as our British representative,
the best thing by an absolute mile about this entire feud was Anthony Ogogo calling Cody Rhodes a bus wanker on Twitter.
What? Oh, what?
He just posted a picture of Cody Rhodes stood outside his like big American bus thing and just put like it's a shout out to a British TV show called The In-Betweeners, and it just put bus wanker on it. And
I appreciate that only. I appreciate it only once
so much.
I appreciate that only one section of the world's going to get that is from a TV show, while the rest of us are like, "What the hell is this?" But I appreciate.
I don't know, but it sounds dirty.
I appreciate the heel. Yeah, I appreciate the heel.
Bus wanker. But this is a feud that's been hurt so much more by the build than the match itself, and this hurts the Nightmare Factory so much because they have got nothing left now. Because Ogogo is the only one who had any kind of momentum whatsoever in that group of four. Comrade is not doing anything. Solo's not doing anything. Cutie Marshall is shit, and so you had Ogogo. You had a chance to build a brand new star here. And I don't even necessarily mind Cody winning, but Cody winning on the back of this feud. And it was so obvious he was winning. As soon as they did all like the patriotism and the charity and veteran stuff before the match, it was so obvious he was winning. Like, I would have at least appreciated if Ogogo maybe kicked out of Crossroads or something beforehand, something along that line. And the biggest hate thing in this match is Cody Rhodes outboxing Anthony Ogogo at one point, where Ogogo's swinging punches and Cody is dodging them and hitting him with his own punches. No, get that shit out of here. Ogogo is an Olympian boxer. If Cody Rhodes is out wrestling Ogogo, no issues there. He's got 10 years of experience on him. Outboxing him, fuck off. I'm done with that. But I don't mind Cody winning. I think the match itself is fine. I hate the build. It's just the build on top of how we won, on top of everything. I think it just buries the entirety of the Nightmare Factory, and I don't like it. It's a shame. Cody is a bus wanker. That's the end.
Was it you in our chat, Pete, that said, just give him an uppercut and end the match now? Why are you performing a full-on wrestling match when you're a professional boxer? Somebody said it.
I don't remember, but I wasn't actually for the full-on. I wasn't against the full-on wrestling match if he was going to lose. If he was going to lose, this had to be 15 minutes long. But I know, I get that. He needed a kick out of a Crossroads. He needed that extra kick out in there to keep him so much strong. I don't like Cody stopped really selling the stomach as well, considering it's basically giving everyone else internal bleeding.
Right.
That type of stuff. And also he knocked him out at one stage. It was a bit too close to ropes, and rather than pulling a knocked out guy in the middle, he just went, "Oh, fuck it. I've messed up."
Yeah, no, that's why I somebody said it as a joke in our chat. I found it kind of funny. I'm like, that's kind of true. You're a professional boxer. Just give him the 1-2, call it a day, and take the win and go. But
yeah, because said the same about Ronda Rousey when she was in her matches.
Yes.
You can do it about anybody. Like Tyson Fury should then just be knocking out Braun Strowman instantly. And
it's like an Archer, like when Ray tries to lift the car, cybernetic legs, and you lifted with your back. I don't remember. I don't remember. I always have cyborg legs.
Yes, it is what it is, and we move on from the 2021 American Revolution. Thank you, Cody, for giving everybody the history lesson that we all needed.
I'm pretty sure Britain won.
Sorry?
I'm pretty sure Britain won that.
Probably.
Is there really a winner in this?
I don't know. Ask your textbooks.
I don't know. I look at the UK and now I look at America now and think we're both fucked, so it's fine.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on from this. We go on to the shortest match of the night, actually, 9 minutes and 50 seconds per Wikipedia time, because Wikipedia is very trustful. Miro retained the TNT Championship against Lance Archer, who, of course, not to be forgotten, that Miro did commit animal abuse when he threw Damien from the ring, Damien the Snake from the ring and in his bag to the entranceway. Full out tossed the snake.
How do we know it was Damien? How long do snakes live?
The snake. Do they last long? I don't know. I don't know, but the snake bounced off the ramp and then fell. So that snake is probably dead.
Well, good. A younger guy beat up this old snake. We don't need these veteran snakes coming in and
No.
over.
Of course not, Mr. Woltman. Of course not. Aside from that, look, I'm just very happy that Miro has a good championship run going for him. He looks strong. He looks as dominant as ever. Lance Archer, I feel like just caught a short end of a stick because he was involved in this type of match before, or at least with the title, didn't win it. Here we are now, doesn't win it, and you're like, oh, okay. But so he comes at the expense of Miro, but I'm really happy that Miro has got this going for him. He looks in incredible shape. The short hair looks a lot better on him than he did with his long hair. And I like him as this dominant, forceful champion, and I want to see that continue. So thank goodness that he retained the title. Pete, let's go to you.
Yeah, I think Lance Archer is a bit of the one that's caught by having too many very good people that deserve a push in your company.
Oh yeah.
He's just a bit of an unfortunate person in that situation, but I'm loving what they're doing with Miro now. It took a while to get there, but whether this was always the plan or whether they diverted from whatever they were doing into this, I think they've now got the right thing. Then they have at least listened, and we now have the Miro that we deserve and we want. This was great. A lot of beef in that match.
Yeah, beef is a word. Yes, beef is a
lot
word.
Of big man energy there.
That's also a safe way to say that. Yes.
Big slobber knocker going on. Of these
That's enough.
guys
Just continue with your point. That's enough. Yeah, push.
Feels weird to be on the other end of
that. This was fine. It was good. It was a decent enough match. It wasn't anything special, but it was the right man running the right way. So good stuff.
Andrew,
did you just dead name me?
I did, sir. I did.
I'm not going to do that. Look, we all know, like Lance Archer is not one of those people that we need to, build up. Like everyone already knows his reputation. He's great. He's wonderful, and he'll be fine. He'll get his moment. Christopher Daniels, it took him about 30 years to win a world title. So I think this doesn't hurt Archer at all. Maybe a little bit, but, we'll get there in the long run. Miro winning is the right choice. Miro winning dominantly is the right choice. And doing that over Archer adds a lot of credibility to your run. And I just like that they're not doing the exact same thing they did with the U.S. title in WWE. Because... we don't need a foreign heel holding a title, blah, 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 blah. Like, Miro's looking strong. Miro looks tough. He's in the prime of his career right now. I'm very happy that we're getting this.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, I think that's just what I think that's a great point in terms of the foreign heel doesn't have the title because Rusev had the U.S. title right now, all about being Russian and whatnot. And with this is this is Miro. He's just a big badass that wants to run you over. That's what he should have been booked as from day one. And it's working. Who would have thought? But
sometimes you take a detour to the fireworks factory,
Also true. Not much else to say on it other than we hope that the snake is okay. And if not, God rest its soul. Let's move on to the AEW Women's World Championship. Britt Baker, DMD, dethrones the year-long reign of Hikaru Shida. First of all, I think Shida. I thought Shida's run was solid. I did think it trailed off a little bit in the end there. I'm surprised it went as long as it did. She's definitely one of the more longer-reigning AEW champs in history in its very short existence. But I'm happy for Britt Baker. I was waiting for this. I'm like, Britt Baker's gonna get that title, and it's gonna be special. And it ended up being special. Like the crowd was hot. The crowd was going nuts. Great for Britt Baker. The hug by Tony Schiavone at the end of it was very special too. I liked it a lot. And again, just two women just going off, and I just think that they had a great match. But I'm happy for Britt Baker. I'm happy that Britt Baker got this opportunity. I'm happy that she's champion. I'm very excited to see where the women's division goes from there with her as champion. Whether it's overdue or not, it's hard to say because she was injured. So I don't think anybody should be saying that. But great on her that she got this. Wolf?
You said my name. Okay. I don't know. I'm just scrolling.
That's what you wanted.
Okay. I don't know. Look, here's the thing. We all know that AEW does not have a great women's division. I mean, they have a lot of great women, they don't have a great division because it's just not booked like, terrifically. NXT is, blowing them out of the water with that. I think, Shida is a great athlete. She was an amazing champion. I really enjoyed what she did. My whole thing was, there wasn't much of a character there. We didn't know a lot about her. Britt Baker, clearly since AEW started, they've had her earmarked for something special. And now that we have this character at the top of the division, I feel like it's going to help improve things going forward. I mean, we'll have better feuds to work with. It'll get a better spotlight because Britt Baker just is a spectacular performer. Great, and not only great in the ring, but a great character. She'll be able to, get us better time. I feel like this is just what we really need, a kick in the butt.
Yep. Pete?
Yeah, I think Wolf covered that pretty well. With regards to the women's division, I think they are finally trying. I think over the last couple of months, we started to notice since basically the lights out match between Britt Baker, and since then, I think Britt Baker's been phenomenal since that match and going onwards. I would also say I think it's the greatest long-term storyline in wrestling right now is Britt Baker and Tony Schiavone.
Yeah,
their chemistry together has been beautiful from start to finish, and this was paid off superbly in this match. Shida was great. Shida is a great wrestler, arguably the best wrestler AEW women's have. But both covered it off. Britt is the character. Britt feels like a star, and my epitome of that is Britt Baker coming to do the post show interviews, and the first thing she did was bring Izzy over, give her a hug, and then said, "You finally get a hug from a real role model."
Yeah.
And that is just brilliant.
That would sting more if Bayley was still a face.
And I think that's just brilliant. I think the first 10 minutes of this match were really average. I thought the last 5 minutes were really good. And I bit into those false finishes. I bit into the interference from Rebel where she hit Britt with the crutch. I bit into the curb stomp on the title. Then Shida's finish, I bit that one as well. I fell for all the false finishes in that last 5 minutes. And I wasn't sure they were going to do it. They had to do it. It was definitely the right decision. And yeah, great stuff.
It was time.
It was definitely time. Not much else to say on the match here because there are some bigger points in the next few matches. So I'm gonna get to one of those 3 points. Sting and Darby Allin taking on Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. Sting and Darby Allin won.
Darby Allin.
Sting is 62. You know who else is 62? My dad. You know what my dad can't do? Take a bump on concrete or just take a bump in general or fall. I want to try. I want to go up to my dad and be like, "Hi, Dad. Look at this wrestler. He's called Sting. See that flip that he did onto the entranceway? Your turn. And see what happens."
Okay, join us next week on Under the Middle Rope when we debate whether or not we should commit patricide.
I can't believe Sting. I cannot believe it. 62, and he's moving around in that ring as if he was like 40. Which is nuts, and then also kind of woke me up. I'm like, oh, his WWE runs in the mid 50s. Jesus, I can't believe. And Darby Allin, crowd's back, and he still says, "Please, okay, for a spot, why don't we just throw me into the crowd? Let me just get tossed into there like a Rafiki tossing Simba off the Rock in the Lion King."
That didn't happen in the Lion King. It was a gif.
It was a blooper. That was actually a recorded, like a created blooper. You know that, right?
Yeah, it's the meme thing.
It's a meme. Yeah. Darby Allin's nuts. I mean, like his ankles hit the barricade really badly, and I'm like, how are you walking? But you're fine. Again, like he just here you go, like go fly. Like I don't know why we.
We're talking about the guy who, in the first 5 seconds of the match, flung himself head first straight out of the ropes and like spinning in the air.
That's it. Thank you. I think I knew I was forgetting.
This is the guy who agreed to get thrown down a flight of stairs just for the sake of it.
Yeah. Okay, guys. All right, let the match begin. He's off. He's flying. I bless your soul, Darby Allin. I'm worried that he's gonna have a very shortened career. I don't know. But anyways. Again, Sting is the biggest talk on the match. I absolutely, yeah, that's true. I absolutely loved Sting. I think it was definitely the right winners. You don't bring Sting back in ring at that age and have him lose. Wink, wink. Triple H. Wink, wink. WrestleMania 31.
At least
But-
not the first match.
Sorry?
At least not the first match.
No, at least not the first match.
But we need to bury WCW.
But I'm really happy for him. Incredible stuff. And Darby Allin, get help. Pete?
Like, still see all the criticism, and it's like the old guy's not putting the younger guys over, but the guy that's getting put over as the younger guy is Darby Allin. That's what he's there for. He's there to elevate Darby Allin and make Darby Allin a big star at the end of it. And I don't know if we're eventually going to get Sting go heel or something, or vice versa. And I think Darby Allin's going to be the one he actually puts over big in the end. I think that's the end of Sting's run, is he'll put over Darby Allin. But I just smiled in this match. I was just happy watching it. I was marking out. I was a proper mark for this. It was great. It was fun. I don't think it hurts Ethan Page or Scorpio Sky at all. I think they just move on to whatever. Maybe they actually go for the tag team belts. I don't know. Like, both of them are great, but they could have had some great heel heat by winning, but I don't think they're hurt in defeat either. Like, and I think you get that big crowd popping moment. Sting wins his first match first live match in AEW.
First live match in a long time as well. 5-6 years.
Yeah, I was just happy watching it. It was what it should have been. And I don't want to get it wrong. I'm not going to be comfortable watching Sting in a full-on one-on-one match because he was protected to hell in this match by Darby Allin. Darby Allin took all the brunt of the moves. Sting took a suplex. He did his dive off the stage, which was obviously fantastic. I marked out. But they were only the real two big bumps he took, I think.
Which is fine.
Which is perfect. I don't want it to take more. But when you get to a one-on-one match, actually took that horrible bump where, I know it was mostly Darby Allin, but where Darby Allin got thrown off the top rope and landed on top of him. That was a brutal spot. But,
you know what's funny?
For the most part, I loved it. Loved it.
I feel like the people that complain about veterans like that going over the younger talent are also the people that tell bookers, hey, you got to listen to the crowd and see what the fans want. Like, you can't have it both ways. Like, and I do think that in this case, listening to the crowd 1000% works. The pop that Sting got when he came out, and there's some live Twitter video of like videos in the crowd of the pop that he got. Ridiculous. Yeah. Ridiculous. And Sting is just that big of an icon too.
It's also not his last match. If Sting goes on and just goes undefeated in AEW and leaves, then I'm going to have an issue and say, you've brought in this old veteran, he's not putting younger guys over. As long as eventually he goes out on his back and he puts a young guy over in the process and makes a star, that's what he is there for. That's what I want. I don't want Sting winning the world title. If Sting doesn't win the world title,
that's what I was going to say.
He can F the hell off. I do not want Sting to win that world title.
Second.
What? How about this? Not just the world title. Any title?
No, I don't want him touching any title.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, that's what I
maybe the tag titles. I could maybe allow him and Darby Allin to win like a tag belt and
I see
like
not a singles title.
But I don't want him in a singles title. No, I do not.
Yeah, that was the point I was going to make, and I do think the tag would make more sense over a single. But for me, I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't mind seeing Sting goes perfect because I mean, like, you can still take a win, but still make a talent look good. Or for example, Adam Page and Brian Cage earlier in the night. Brian Cage looks strong. Is strong in his loss. Same with Lance Archer. Same with Orange Cassidy, which we're going to talk about.
Same with John Moxley. Same with
which you can talk about next. If you're making the talent look strong, then go for it. But my point is, if a crowd is reacting a certain way, you can't ignore it. You can't just ignore it for the sake of kayfabe. You can't ignore it for the sake of booking. Like, if a crowd's going nuts, here's an idea: follow it, because there's probably something good that he can come out of that. Wolf, let's go to you.
I don't really have a lot to say. You kind of
fantastic. We move it. No, kidding.
No, I'm good.
Oh, yeah, actually, yeah.
I mean, you dick. Nah, it was a great match. You know, it just made me want Undertaker versus Sting, and made me think, like, why didn't we do that? I mean, I'm sure there's a lot more risk there, but surely we could have at least tried or had a discussion about it. I'm just saying, like, it's clear that, you know, more than anything, I'm realizing that Sting was wasted in WWE. They could have done so much more with him. Like, if any, like, for God's sakes, they could have done this match with, like, him tagging with AJ or something.
I mean, to be fair, he was in line. I'm pretty sure he was in line to win a world title until that freak injury with
I
Seth
wouldn't have
Rollins.
wanted that either.
What?
I think. Well, he did had like
Okay, guys. Next up, we're talking about the
he had a
world title match with Kenny Omega.
Seth Rollins.
Sorry?
He did have the world title match with
He
Seth
did, and I
Rollins.
thought. I mean, I don't know if it was. I don't know if it was. I don't know if it was like an audible to have Seth Rollins win, but I wouldn't have been surprised.
Clearly not.
It wasn't, because the audible was he won that match, but he lost to Cena because it was like he defended both back to back.
And then we had Sheamus come out, and then Kane came out, and then everything else.
Right. I'm just saying, like, I felt like maybe Sting was on the road to have a world title match, and as a and I don't know if this is something I want to bring up or revive, but at the same time, Sting had the option. I know there were negotiations for him to go into WWE earlier, and obviously he ended up picking Impact/TNA. So the timing is just unfortunate at the end of the day. And when it comes to Sting and Undertaker, your only option was WrestleMania 31, because 32 was when I think was the start of the decline, because 31 was a solid match with Bray Wyatt, but especially a year after the streak ending, it would have made sense to do Sting Taker then instead of Sting Triple H, especially to have Sting buried. But aside
I'll
from
send you a clip later. They did a really good fan promo package for
by the
Undertaker
time
versus Sting.
I'm
by
sure
the time
there's
Sting came to WWE, I already thought it was too late.
It was way too late. It had to be either mid streak or early before the streak was being realized that, oh, wait a minute.
Even if he left TNA significantly earlier, I think he could have done it like, if he left TNA in like 2010, I wouldn't have minded.
The options were there.
It was around that time. Like they were having discussions.
It was 5 years later he came in. I thought that just by
I'm pretty sure the debate happened twice. Like, the negotiations happened twice. Like, as soon as WCW folded in 2001, that right. So I felt like the opportunities were there. There's just nothing that came about, and I don't.
Well, we just had to put over that hot young talent, Paul Levesque. He's got his whole career ahead.
I don't think that Sting wanted to come either, right? Was I don't know. I don't know what goes on in the negotiation. The point is, it's something that we unfortunately will live for the rest of our lives with the question of what if, and it can be replayed in the upcoming.
I'm just glad his last match wasn't those matches, though. That's kind of
definitely. I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree.
His career on a new streak and hopefully put over someone in the process.
I'm just saying that if you want to see it, WWE 2K22 comes out later this year. You can try then.
Mark,
I know. Let's move on. Let's move on to the one of the bigger matches. If in fact, I think this could have been the best match aside from the cinematic / finale, the triple threat match for the AEW World Championship. Kenny Omega, Orange Cassidy, Pac. Kenny Omega won, as we said, as expected. There was no other result. But for those that absolutely cannot stand Orange Cassidy, hi, I'm talking to you. Orange Cassidy in this match, this past Sunday, at Double or Nothing in Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida, looked fucking amazing. He really did. In fact, that crowd was so into him, they may have rioted. They may have wanted to riot Kenny winning. I'm being exaggerating, but I just want to say that.
No, I saw Twitter afterwards. I
just want to say that I hope that was some, at least like the guy in section 321, row 1, seat 4 thought. He looked great.
Craig.
Good old Craig. He looked spectacular. And I do think that he can hold his own. And I do think that he deserves to be in this spot more frequently because he looks like a star. And if you disagree with that, I'm sorry. I do think you're a little blind. Just a little bit. You have your opinion. That's fine. Just a little blind. Because Orange Cassidy Pac looked great too. And Pac definitely was protected. Not taking the pinfall, but the fact that Orange Cassidy got more near fall wins than Pac and had the crowd on their feet and screaming, that says a whole lot about somebody. And if a performer and a booking can do that, then you have a star. I really do. That's my take. Let's get to the. I'm kidding. Wolf, let's start with you on this.
Even that last match.
Look. I love Orange Cassidy. I do. And I frankly think that, he should be a world champion at some point. It's believable. It's very believable. He deserves the spotlight. He's very talented. You have to be so good at wrestling to make it look so bad when you're just doing it with your pockets. Like, you have to know all the fundamentals. You have to be great to do it so lazily. And, the rally that he comes with, fantastic. He's so over. It's just amazing. He's great. I loved it. I bought into nearly every near fall. And Pac is very protected too. He'll have his moment. And I say this without hyperbole, this is probably one of the best triple threats of all time. It's definitely up there. I've seen some.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's the best, but I do.
No. It's
one of the best. Absolutely. And again,
I want to make my ground very clear on that.
And again, 1/3 of it is because of Orange Cassidy. Wolf, continue.
Hey, my gimmick is talking to the mic really close.
Oh, okay. Go again.
Wait, my mic's on my face. It doesn't work.
How you doing there? Mission control. But yeah, the point is, we don't know who's going to defeat Kenny Omega, but at this point, there's a lot of options that I would accept. And a lot of people I would believe. Orange Cassidy is one of them.
Yep. I'm on board with Wolf. Yep. And there was a part of me that wanted Orange Cassidy to win to watch Twitter blow up, because I think the reaction would have been beautiful. I love to see a good reaction moment on the Twitter machine. I love to see a moment that brings everybody united in sports and wrestling and just gets them going wild. That would have been great. Pete?
Well-known Twitter troll, Jose Tabata.
I'm going to take it one step further.
Oh, dear Lord.
Oh, God.
This is the greatest triple threat match I've ever seen.
That's a bold. Sorry,
googly moogly.
So I am going there. I think so. There's two things. There's two ways I say greatest match. So this has nothing on WrestleMania 20 in terms of like storyline. I want to emphasize that straight away. In terms of actual storytelling, that is still probably the best triple threat match of all time.
Fair point.
WrestleMania 20. In terms of in-ring performance, action, everything that went on, how it played out, the false finishes, everything like that. My previous best triple threat match was Joe, Styles, and Daniels. That was like my previous best prior to this. I think this was better than that. And again, this is not on storytelling, because in terms of storyline, nothing is going to top WrestleMania 20. I don't think ever for me in terms of a triple threat match.
That's fair.
But in-ring, this, in my opinion, is the greatest in-ring triple threat match of all time. I bet on every false finish, even though I knew this match was a foregone conclusion. And that's how I know it was so amazing. Me thinking that Orange Cassidy was about to pin Omega clean in the middle of the ring. I thought Pac was going to pin Orange Cassidy clean after that Black Arrow. Me biting on those, despite knowing Kenny Omega is winning this match, shows how great of a job these three did.
Absolutely.
There were no real botches as far as I was aware in this match. There was huge spots in that, huge flow of the match. I loved Kenny being a dick in it. I loved Callis screaming shit on commentary and then running down the ring. I loved that stuff to pull out the ref for that near fall. This is at least a 5-star match for me in terms of actual performance, without a doubt. This might be the first triple threat match, in my opinion, that breaks that 5-star scale. If you want to follow Meltzer or whatever.
You're saying 6.
I'd say 6.
If you want to follow that type of crap, I would give it more than 5 stars. But that's obviously my personal opinion. You can have your own opinions. Do whatever you like. But for me, in-ring, best triple threat of all time. Fantastic.
See, I will say, I know Don Callis's role is to protect Kenny as much as possible. That bugged me a little bit. It was a solid spot. I'm not saying that it's not. I'm just like I said, I'm personally over where the manager comes in and be like, no, we gotta protect the champ. We gotta protect the champ, right? Or an associate or a buddy like Jey Uso to Roman Reigns, right? I'm like, okay, we get it. You know, you're gonna step in for Roman, right? In this case, okay, Don Callis, we know you're gonna step in for Kenny. I do like that. Like, I do wish it makes sense for a heel, but I do wish that the heel would just do it on her own and be like, hey guys, I got this. And obviously, okay, we knew Kenny was winning it, and then pulled off at the end. But
my favorite spot of this match, though, by amount, is when Pac had the brutalizer on Orange Cassidy, and Kenny Omega's kicking Pac, trying to break it up, and then just starts panicking, and then just kicks the ref instead. I just love that. Oh my god, he's not releasing the hold. What the hell do I do? I love him just using every single world title to smack him over the head with just the arrogance of that. I love.
Give me another one.
Another one.
It ended up working out. I will say that it ended up working out. And my favorite spot had to be when Orange Cassidy threw Pac out of the ring to get the cover and nearly got it again. And I think that was my moment where you're like, holy crap, this is brilliant.
That's the moment everyone bought into it.
Brilliant.
The one where mine was like, well, Pac actually hitting the Black Arrow on Orange Cassidy, going for the pin, and Kenny Omega was miles away when that pin started. And he darted in and got his hand on it right as the 3 was about to hit. And I was like, that timing,
It's great. It's great all around. And like, I mean, and I know, like I said, and I want to, because I know Pac and Kenny are good. I'm just happy for Orange Cassidy. And I know, for example, I even heard today, former referee Jimmy Corderas, former WWE Jimmy Corderas, saying that he doesn't know why Orange Cassidy, he doesn't see why people are seeing or buying into this guy. And like,
they were kind of past, people not buying into him. If you don't see it at this point, you're not gonna.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. It's like if you're not, if you're persistent and if you try to continue to tell people, guys, he's just not that good. I'm like, I mean, of course, we can be guilty of saying the other side of that coin, but I just really think that Orange Cassidy stood out and is the standout of the match at the end of the day. Like, like Wolf said, you have to be pretty damn good if all you're known for is putting your hands in your pocket and then going balls deep on it. I just think he really did a great job. I really, really did. I don't know if we're gonna see Orange Cassidy in this situation again, but my God, will I be for it? I just think he's solid. I just think he's now turned into a really, really great worker. And Wolf's right. If people don't see that, I think it's because of the already preconceived notion of what they saw of Orange Cassidy at the start of AEW 2 today.
I can understand you not liking Orange Cassidy's character, though. I think you can't doubt that in ring he is a very good performer.
But that's the thing.
I can understand you not liking the character.
But I think people are tying the character to the in-ring work, and then therefore it equals not good, which is, I think, frustrating. Because I get it, like he's a laid back guy. That's the gimmick. Since when are people that are so into gimmicks all of a sudden hating that gimmick? It's like,
this gimmicks I don't like, so I'm not gonna be like,
yeah. Like, I mean, I just find that there can be some moments when fans want one thing, want something unique, they get it, and then it's, well, that's not what I meant in terms of unique. It's like, but that's what you wanted. I don't know. That's, people have their takes, people have their opinions. I just think that I will die on that hill that I do think you are really, really, really missing out and just refusing to see what Orange Cassidy can bring to the table, because he brought a damn lot this past Sunday. But let's go on to the main event, shall we? Let us move on to the main event. It is Stadium Stampede number 2. The Inner Circle, Chris Jericho, Jake Hager, Sammy Guevara, Santana Ortiz, taking on the Pinnacle, MJF, Wardlow, Sean Spears, Cash Wheeler, and Dax Harwood, featuring a sleeveless Tully Blanchard. Oh my. The Inner Circle wins. If they lost, they would have had to disband.
I think that's how we knew they weren't going to lose.
You'd be surprised. I feel like I've seen stipulations where you get those and it actually happens. First of all, the Inner Circle's entrance was scary.
That was great.
It was solid, but to see Chris Jericho dip like he did and then hitting the screen, hitting the Jumbotron, was a bit scary, especially with the bad arm that he had. At this point, I don't even know if it's a bad arm. Look, you could say it's a work. It was a different Stadium Stampede this time all around. It did feel like everybody was more situated into individual storylines, to say the least. Of course, we did get some really fun appearances, like Charles Wright and Urban Meyer, coaches of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I got a nice spot from the crowd. Cardboard cutout of Tony's dad, the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, also getting a bit of a pop.
Conan.
What?
Conan.
Conan is a DJ. That's right. I like the match. I did like it. I did find it quirky, like I did last year. At some moments where you're just like laughing and going, "Holy crap!" But I didn't find it as entertaining as I did last year, because last year's was just special and all over the place. I found obviously the first time you're seeing this, and you see the bar that is set, and then you're going, "Oh, I wonder what they're gonna do this time around." And it felt like they didn't reach that bar that they set last year. And Stadium Stampede 1, it was great nonetheless. I still liked it, but I definitely would prefer Stadium Stampede 1 over 2, just because of the quirkiness and how the creativity that they got with Stadium Stampede 1. Of course, what the benefit of Stadium Stampede 2 was that they were able to finish it in the crowd. Like nobody from the crowd left because you're wondering, is this live? Is this taped? Probably it may have been taped, and they just saved the last bit to. They may just save the last bit for the crowd at the end there. Sammy Guevara with the incredible 630 senton. That was just take a bow, Sammy. What a splash from the top rope. Pin Sean Spears, gets the 1, 2, 3. That's ball game. And the crowd singing into the night of Judas was also a very touching moment, especially when the sound operator turned off the theme song and just had the crowd sing it to close the night. Solid stuff, but yes, I did prefer Stadium Stampede 1 over 2. Wolf.
I think the reason kind of why we were able to, like Stadium Stampede 1, and there's other reasons why it was better, because the entire thing was taped in advance. They had time to edit it. They had time to go back and reshoot things. Here, again, we don't know how much of it was live, how much of it was taped.
From what I read, I think everything that wasn't in front of the crowd was taped.
It felt taped. It definitely felt taped. Yeah.
Because they had like different camera cuts, different things of like the different.
Exactly. It didn't scream the "we're live, pal." If anything, it felt like it looked like they filmed it while the pay-per-view was going too. Like,
okay, so they might have had more of a time crunch. I'm sure that's kind of be a fact. I'm not going to make excuses. I don't think there was anything bad with it. It definitely just wasn't as fun as the first one, but it was still pretty fun. It's kind of like, 22 Jump Street. Okay, this is pretty fun. The first one was better, but this is still good.
Fair.
It had a lot of fun moments. Again, I thought they were going to go for a Kevin Owens Roman Reigns joke when Sammy Guevara was handcuffed, but I enjoyed it a lot. I was fairly certain that Wardlow and Hager were going to fall through the roof of the golf cart. It looked like it was buckling. I nearly bought into that. I think the part in the bar, kind of similar to what they did last year, but different enough that it worked, and especially with Conan, in the back. Just a lot of fun moments in this. And Chris Jericho, finally somebody that we can cheer, that we're supposed to. He's my favorite wrestler for a reason. I just love everything he does. And the fact that he's like, "Oh, coach, can I have that laptop? Thank you."
Boom.
It's just a wonderful match, and a big reason why I'm a huge fan of this company, because they're willing to go out on a limb and try new things. So Stadium Stampede 2 definitely gets a big thumbs up from me.
I was saying that I know Pete and I are more of the NFL fanatics here, as opposed to Wolf. But when we saw Urban, I mean it's just fact. I mean, Wolf,
Oh, I'm sorry. Who was in the finals of the Fantasy Football League 2 years ago?
2 years.
We were, and I beat you, Wolf.
Oh, where's the ring, Jose? Where's the ring?
It's on my shelf.
It's not on your hand. You don't care.
Anyway.
And I'm just consistently third, so whatever.
Podium finish. I was talking to Pete. I'm like, so when you think we're going to see Trevor Lawrence or Tim Tebow? Unfortunately, we didn't get either. But Urban Meyer was a great cameo there for the fans who are anticipating a bit of a more exciting season with after drafting Trevor Lawrence first overall, and Urban Meyer coming out of his 50th retirement. So that was a nice little pop there. Pete, your thoughts on the match?
Yeah, I think you kind of covered my position a bit. I thought this was good. I don't think I maybe loved it as much as Wolf did or others, but there are spots I really enjoyed. I loved the Urban Meyer, as you mentioned. I loved the abseiling at the start. I loved seeing Conan. That megaphone thing where Jericho just turned around and screamed in MJF's face, that popped me a lot. And obviously finished with the crowd was good. And I was trying to work out why I preferred last year's so much, because last year's is one of my favorite matches of the year. I loved last year's. And there's 3 big reasons I picked out of why it was. I think this year had a lack of the big memorable spots that last year did. And I reckon I can list off more memorable spots from last year's than I can from last night.
Absolutely.
One day ago.
I agree.
Because I can list all the Hangman's Bar Brawl, the Hardy Pool stuff, the Jericho challenging with a red flag, spiking a guy's head in the end zone.
Watch it again.
The Northern Lights entirely down the field, the diving off the ring post, the golf carts, all that kind of stuff. I can remember it all from last year, and it all kind of worked. The second thing I thought was, I don't think some of the spots this year suited the characters and the actual wrestlers. So Hangman fucking off to a bar in the middle of this wrestling match completely made sense to me, because it was completely in his character at the time as this drunk cowboy guy that just pissed off. FTR effing off to a bar doesn't work for me, because they're meant to be the epitome of serious wrestling, and them waiting in a bar during the middle of the match.
Too. They preach the hell out of that all the time.
Them waiting in a bar, it felt weird to me. like Spears getting chased by a motorcycle didn't make sense for me as a spot. Hager and Wardlow being in a freezer is fun, but it's not exactly part of their character, which I think last year did so well. Those spots are character driven. The golf cart, for example, last year was completely built into the storyline going into it, with like Sammy Guevara getting run over in the build up and all that kind of stuff. So him getting chased by a golf cart last year made complete sense. This year it was just a callback without really any reason for it to be there. But I felt like it didn't know whether this wanted to be a comedy match or a serious match, whereas last year knew exactly where it was. But the biggest reason by a mile for me was that lack of transition and the lack of interaction between different wrestlers. And everyone just went off on their own. Last year, everyone felt they could be together. You could felt like anyone could run into anyone at any point. They were in the same vicinity of each other. They could just swap wrestlers, start feuding with someone else at any point. This year, they broke off into pairs almost immediately, and then they never came back together. They never were there. They just had their individual segments, and then we moved on to the next pairing, and that was kind of it. It lacked a bit of cohesiveness to the match, in my opinion. Like Hager and Wardlow, they fought, and they then never had any influence over the finish whatsoever. Same with the tag teams, no influence over the finish whatsoever. Whereas last year, we had big influence because at the end, it was Sammy Guevara got pretty much outnumbered because everyone else had got taken out of the match. And that influenced the finish for me. Four-fifths of this match was irrelevant. The only thing that mattered was Sammy Guevara and Shawn Spears because everybody else just fucked off on their own and didn't factor into the finish, really.
Yeah,
and again, I still enjoyed this match. I still had a lot of fun with this match. I love the crowd. I don't want to sound like completely negative. I really enjoyed it. No. This is just why it just did not live up to last year for me. I would give this maybe a 7.5 out of 10 style match for me. Last year's was probably a 9 or 10 out of 10 for me.
I think as well. I think last year's Stampede had a really, really big finish. The one winged angel from the from the stands onto like a very deep down dive, a very deep fall, I should say, was pretty bad. And now while the 630 splash was big on its own, it did not have that big impact because the one winged angel was just a beautiful.
I was surprised it was the end of the match.
And so was I. Like the one winged angel last year was just a beautiful culmination of so much chaos happening that it just needed a big finish. There was chaos everywhere. But yeah,
I was at least expecting the rest of Inner Circle to reappear in the ring, and then maybe like every one of them hits the finisher on Spears.
I agree.
That's something like that. But them none of them were there until Spears won, and that kind of didn't feel right to me.
Yeah, if it was unfortunate, but like I said, I did enjoy it. I mean, who knows? Maybe Jim Cornette enjoyed it more after he said last year, if this is what wrestling is now, it needs to die. Leave it alone and let it go.
Well, I've heard people who have enjoyed it more. Like Lex said, he enjoyed this one more.
Yeah, Lex said he enjoyed it more for sure. But it is what it is. And again, I just think I did think that at the end of the night, it capped off a solid event. It capped it a very solid event. So on that note, out of 5 stars, really quick, Wolf, what do you rate Double or Nothing?
4.2.
4.2. Pete.
Honestly, about 4.5. Like I said, best triple threat, amazing title changes, amazing like title matches and stuff, and really probably only one down point. I even liked the main event, so I can't complain about it. I don't think there's anything that was terrible and one thing that was average. Everything else was good or better.
I'm gonna say 4.5 as well. I echo Pete's statements, and like I said, the only downfall I think was the Cody match. But again, even then, that wasn't drastically bad. But this ended up being one of my favorite AEW pay-per-views to date so far. I had a lot of fun this past Sunday. And on that note, gentlemen, this is where we're gonna put a bow on it. Thank you for coming back, as always. Always nice to hear from you guys, and of course, let's get to the closing.
Go tickle some feathers.
Oh, God.
Goodbye.
Okay. You made it to the end of the episode. You made it to the end, and yeah, I stick by my 4 to 5 rating when it comes to Double or Nothing. An incredible night. AEW delivers once again, and the one thing that we forgot to bring up that I have to bring up right now is Mark Henry. I'm very happy for Mark Henry. I don't think, and nor is it really an AEW revenge signing or a WWE revenge signing or like another installment to the war. I'm pretty sure this is just an opportunity that Mark Henry wanted to explore. as being he's a coach and a commentator, so why not? Not everything needs to be WWE versus AEW, and I'm happy for him. He got a great pop this past Sunday. I can't believe I forgot to bring it up, but that's all I need to say. That I'm happy for Mark Henry. Good signing for AEW, and please stop trying to fish out another WWE versus AEW narrative. That's all I ask. Of course, we are back next week with another episode, but for now, all I can say is just that. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to us here on YouTube, hit that notification bell, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and we're available wherever you get your podcast. I'm Jose Tablada, and we will see you guys next week. Have a great one. Bye.